Hi, I'm Daz. I'm the producer of The Drift, and this is just a little short sort of diary about sound effects and how that's working at the moment. I've got some guys who are working from a distance from Manchester, a company called Noise 4, very cool guys, and they're helping me out. And they're sending me sound effects, and I've given them a list of sound effects that I need and secret YouTube links of the beats, which is a group of scenes put together, and there's like 11 beats in the whole movie currently. And I just thought I'd sort of share with you how we are able to do that, because they use different software. They use Pro Tools to create sounds, which is great, and then those sounds need to be imported into Premiere, which is what I use. It's not Avid. Pro Tools is part of Avid, and that's not very necessarily easy. And there are lots of different ways of doing it. And the way that we've done it is using Timecodes. So what I've done on my videos that I give to people, there are different time codes, and I thought I'd go through those and show you how that works. So basically here, this is a YouTube link. This is actually what the guys have sent back to me. When I send them a beat, there are several different time codes here. So basically you have 3 time codes. There's more information here too. So first of all, you've got the date of when this particular edit was completed, the scene number that it refers to, the beat number over here, so this is beat 02, and then you've got the 3 time indexes. So the one next to the beat there is the time index of the beat itself. So each beat is typically around about sort of 10 minutes. So that's the really crucial one that these guys have been working to, because they edit the sound effects 1 beat at a time. And we tried looking at options where I would give them the scenes sort of separated and they could work on those. But that was difficult because a lot of the scenes are actually split up across a beat, and sometimes they actually even cross beats, because once you get into the edit, the scenes become very sort of stepping stone, and you want to have things running in parallel, so you cut from one back to the other, back and forth, that type of thing. So it becomes a little bit more disjointed, which makes it more interesting for the audience in terms of going from one place to the next and things are sort of happening at the same time. From a sound effect point of view, and from this point of view, it's actually quite difficult. So what they've asked me to do, or asked if they could do, is stick to the beats. So basically they produce 10 minutes worth of sound effects, and they with that timeline there. So the bottom left one here we've got, which is the length of the movie at this point. So currently this is beat 2, scene 11, we're 5 minutes 29 seconds into the beat, and we're 11 minutes 36 seconds into the film. And the last one, which for me is actually the first one, is the time that we're actually in the scene. And that's important for when you're editing, because it's just, is the scene got the right length, has it got the right pace, that kind of stuff. So what happens is that they send me a sound effect, because one of the options, to go back slightly, one idea was to send one long track, which is no good because I need to be able to take each of those sound effects. So first of all, not say assess them, but certainly as director, is it in keeping? Is it what I want? Would it be good for something else? Would it be good for something else and this effect? That type of thing. Do I need to add an effect to that effect? So does it need to have a slight echo? Does it need to be muffled? Does it need to be like it's from a distance? That type of thing. Having a single track is going to be no good at all. Also, just from a levels point of view, what if I want the levels of 2 sound effects to be different, or if it's mixing with the dialogue and then the score and then the wild track, again, I need to be able to play with all the levels. So a single cue is no good. The next thing they said, well, how about, in order to get all the sound effects synchronised, how about we just create a file that always starts at the beginning of the movie, or the beginning of the beat, and then it just ends just after the sound effect. So you'd have a whole 25 tracks of all lots of long WAV files. I said, well, no, because that's complicated in terms of it takes up lots of WAV space, lots of space on the timeline, which you could trim, but it's lots of space. And it's a difficult way of doing it. It's kind of a cheap way of doing it, I think, as well. Not criticising the guys. I mean, this might be how the industry does it, or whatever. I don't know, but in terms of how we do it, I didn't like that idea. So what I suggested, and it's something we've been doing with the visual effects already, is we give an identifier to each effect. And I decided and suggested that we gave them the time code that they go in. So this is where they use the beat time code. And so they'll call it, computer beep 529, and then I know in the beat where that goes, but where does it go in the scene? Well, that's easy, because we've got the scene index here. So although these guys are working to the beat, I'm working to the scene. Not all the... ultimately, the scenes will be compiled into beats, but we're not quite there yet. That's probably when we're near approaching picture lock. The scene project files are just too big to do that right now. So I go into the edit of the scene to put in that sound effect, not to the beat. But I use the information from the beat, which is on this YouTube link, which these guys have sent me. So I know that at 529, that's at 0:25:20 on my score. So if I go across to my edit here, this is now the edit for this particular sequence. So if I go to 0:25:20 on my timeline of scene 11. So if I find scene 11, which is here, this is scene 11. I need to go, so at the moment the index is 0044, so I need to change that to 25. So we'll just go back a bit. And there we go. So here, just missed it. Come on, Daz, sort yourself out. 17. 25. There we go. So there's 25:03. So it's not frame by frame at this moment in time. I can obviously put it frame by frame by frame. So the beat just going forward, forward, forward. So now we've got 25:20 here. We've got exactly the same 25:20 there. But this is within the scene. This is within the beat, and it all came from these guys calling it 529. So I know where it goes. It goes there. And then in the timeline, so here, I've got it here, which is comms button 0529 16 frames, which is there. I'll just play it. There you go. Play it again. Beep. Okay, I think we got that. Right. And now I can then pop that, drag that straight into, dragging it straight across into the point down here. It's not quite right, that's 25:20, so we need to zoom in obviously on here. Call 25:16. So that's now put in place, which is here. And if we play that, there it is. There's the beat. So that's how we're doing it. And obviously, you multiply it by the 387 different sound effects that I think we've currently got on the list. So there you go. So that's a way of collaborating online with sound effects. It's been a long road with sound effects. I've had all sorts of challenges in how to get them done, and this seems to be working really, really well. So a big shout out to the guys at Noise for working at FutureWorks and stuff down at Manchester. They've totally nailed this, and it just shows how you can do it. And that's good because they've made this look so easy. Obviously now I'm going to ask them to do more stuff. Which is probably a bad thing for them. I don't know, but they're producing some really cool stuff. But there you go. That's how we use timecodes.